and Bell leads on Morris and takes over. And Gentilozzi has an opening. Gentilozzi takes the lead. They've swapped it 3 times. Bell gets turned around. Gentilozzi will score the win. A battered Paul Gentilozzi may have won that battle, but the Warriors have arrived at a vastly different battleground in their attempt to unseat the defending champion. As the Trans Am War rages on here at Mosport, live on Speed. It's Victoria Day weekend here in Canada, and interestingly, the first shot of this second battle of the season has already been fired. But if you think back to that awesome last lap at Long Beach, it came from an entirely different regiment. For more on that, let's go down and meet Calvin Fish. Cal?
Well, Greg, it's tough to call multiple sports car champion Butch Leitzinger a rookie, but that's exactly what he is in the Trans Am Series this year. He had problems at Long Beach, but he certainly rebounded yesterday with the qualifying session here at Mosport Park. But Butch, having grabbed the fast lap here yesterday, you then had some problems. What happened out there out on turn 9?
Well, we had such a good lap to get the pole time, but it was a little bit sloppy, and I thought I could do a little bit better one. And I had a really good lap going, and I don't know if I just got a little bit too excited about it, but I made a sloppy downshift, and it sent me into a tank slapper, and it's backed it into the wall pretty hard. But fortunately, the team here is so good that they had the car fixed in 2 hours, and we went out for the final practice, and we're just as fast as before.
Demanding on the circuit, Butch, and you've driven here in a sports car with a lot of downforce. How much fun are one of these Trans Am cars around this place?
It's fantastic. It doesn't have quite the grip that the sports car does, but you can just slide the car around everywhere. I mean, we're in these high-speed, 120-mile-an-hour drifts through turns 1, turn 2. It's absolutely spot on.
Okay, well, certainly that qualifying session was an eventful one. A few surprises out there, Chris Neville.
Yeah, well, I'm back in the 5th position on the grid with the Long Beach winner and the defending champion of the series, Paul Gentilozzi. Now, Paul, Friday was a little bit uncharacteristic Rocket Sports. You had a couple off-track excursions. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we always try to test the limits in the Johnson Controls Jag. Unfortunately, we were working through some car setup things, and we found the wrong side of the limit. It'll be fine today. Don't worry about it.
Paul, you had a disappointing qualifying, but at the end of the day, Saturday, you leapt back to the top of the time charts. Did you finally find something with the car?
Well, we got caught short in qualifying. We had a plan. Unfortunately, we didn't count on a shortened session. When we ran out of time, I guess we ran out of talent.
Well, Paul's got some fast guys in front of him today, but I'm sure he's confident that he'll get back up to the front. Greg?
Well, thanks very much, Chris. And folks, you've met our 2 pit reporters. Now I'm very happy to introduce the guy who sat on the pole, fast qualifier here during his awesome 1984 season, Willie T. Ribbs. Now, Willie, a lot's changed at this track since that time, but 2 things that haven't changed. 1, it is incredibly challenging. And 2, it is seriously quick. They're firing them up.
Hey, let me tell you what, it's smoother here and it's wider here. But what not has changed is when you get here, you tighten up on them crotch straps because this place is big time. What? Bad fast.
Obviously, the corner's very long here and a lot of downforce necessary as well, and they've been really tweaking on that here. Plus, it's a little cool.
Oh, well, the cool weather is going to make good engine power, and it's going to help the tires out a little bit. But I'm going to tell you this right now, you do need downforce. They're long, fast corners, both left and right.
And you're in them forever, so tires can be an issue. I mean, this has everything, and it is going to be a great second round to the Trans Am Series for the BF Goodrich Tires Cup. When we come back, we're going to take another look at that last lap at Long Beach. Don't go away.
When you travel, don't downsize, Amerisize at AmeriSuites. Need more room to spread out? Get more workspace and features like high-speed internet access. Plus, unwind in a suite for the price of an ordinary hotel room. And when it comes to breakfast, don't downsize, Amerisize. Get AmeriSuites' free Bountiful Breakfast Buffet every morning. Don't downsize, Amerisize at AmeriSuites.
Enter AmeriSuites Trans Am Racing Team Sweepstakes to win a Jaguar.
But not mine.
Hey, sports fans, the race for the ultimate tailgating grill is on, and the Grill to Go is leaving the competition in the dust. Ordinary charcoal grills take 30 minutes or more to heat up. Goes from 0 to cooking in record time. Unfold the legs, set the grill on top, attach propane cylinder, slide in shelves, hit the ignition, and you're cooking while old school grills are still in first gear. The high-performance griddle lets you cook pancakes, eggs, and bacon. And the Teflon Classic non-stick surface from DuPont turbocharges cleanup. Just rinse, wipe, and you've got the green light to go. Don't let tailgating season kick off without your grill to go. It's light, portable, easy to use. And with its extra large grilling surface, it's sure to be the MVP of every tailgate party. Call them to order or look for the grill to go at major retailers everywhere.
JC of El Paso had an exhaust smoke problem.
You know, the smoke police in Texas are tough on pollution. So I bought a bottle of No Smoke and the smoke disappeared. I'm your customer for life.
No Smoke from world-famous Bardol. Time for your emission test? LF of Connecticut solved the problem with All You Need.
I didn't pass 2 years ago. Cost me $300 in repairs. This year I used All You Need and passed the first time through.
All You Need from world-famous Bardol.
Today's live race coverage on Speed Channel is brought to you by AmeriSuites, the preferred hotel of the Series. Welcome back to Mosport. You know, that last lap, folks, at Long Beach is already being referred to in terms of legend. We thought it would be a lot of fun to get the three protagonists together and have them sort of take us through it a cappella. Free form, we want you to enjoy it. It was wonderful. Here it is.
So going into the last lap, I figured, hey, the Applied Computer Solutions car is going to win. But I made a mistake in turn one, got in a little hot, and that
Wait a minute, Boris.
blew
Boris.
you
blew the corner as
You did blow the corner, but I didn't want to pass you till the last lap. I mean, that was pretty obvious. Who wants to be ahead of Boris with a lap to go?
But right now,
I heard from your cellmates last year, being ahead of Boris.
You're
is
roughing
not
me
the
up
thing.
a little bit, but it's nothing I can't take. That's just a little rubbing.
Right now, as you came through here, I'm just thinking this could work. This could come off if these two carry on jerking around like this.
Well, I could have a heart attack, but that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, but it could happen. You tried to get by me, and I just kept you behind.
Well, you know you were slow there, and you just, instead of racing fair, you just blocked a little. I can take that.
Both of you didn't use your mirrors coming down here, because I don't think you saw me right now.
No, I didn't see you behind me, actually.
No.
And I'm lucky that when I came over, I don't know if we touched
We just touched a little. You went so I was there.
Now this block's fair.
This is fair?
This block, you covered 70 feet.
But then here you go with the fourth and long. Hey, I'll just throw it long.
But I braked there every time, but it didn't work this time.
Right.
You were in the
if I
middle of the
wasn't there, you would have wrecked.
Yeah, okay. Well, see what happened?
But look, who's the guy in the blue car?
That's the guy you let win, and then all of a sudden you lifted early, and I had to hit you.
Okay.
I lifted early. I think you accelerated early.
Oh, I beg to differ, my friend.
But anyway, look, that's the most depressing sight in the
It
world.
is, to
that
see
Jag.
the blue M&M win. It's your fault.
Yeah. Well, as you see, that I'm not even in the shot for about another 7 cars.
We
The
don't
two
mind
of you
that.
can go have a pity party somewhere.
Yeah, we'll take Gentilozzi down this weekend.
Okay.
Willie, there was a lot of testosterone floating around in that room.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's what I love. Oh, get those three together in the same room.
Yeah.
And lucky the camera was there.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun, and obviously they enjoy what they do so much. That's Claudio Burton, by the way. Now, that car was actually going to be starting at the back of the pack due to a 4-tire change, but apparently problems a little bit deeper than that. Willie, we've talked a lot already about this track, but let's actually take a look at it, and you can see these long corners you were talking about.
Well, you look at this place, it's 2.5 miles long, 10 corners. Majority of the corners are very fast corners. There's 2 or 3 corners that are slow, but on average, you're going to be long, fast corners, and you're in them a long time, and you need a lot of downforce. Today is real cold day. And it's good for the engine, a good downforce, and it should be a hot race.
We want to bring you the starting lineup, and again, from qualifying, it was interesting. This is the Automation Direct starting grid. Butch Leitzinger with a new track record, and that record had stood for some time, set quite a few years ago by Ron Fellows, joined by Boris Said, who really has that panos hustling. Johnny Miller, a great qualifying effort in third, and he said he didn't use up much in that. He thinks there may be even some more left. Justin Bell, the last year's Rookie of the Year. Then Paul Gentilozzi barely making it into the Fast Five, and Tony Ave really has that panos Esperani working. Tommy Dreesy joining Rocket Sports this year, started inside row 4 with Stu Hayner, one of the Revolution Corvettes, alongside Lou Gelati, who is running for the first time the new style bodywork. We'll talk about that for the vet. Then in row 6, Simon Gregg and the rookie Peter Kloot. And we're going to take a look at currently 4th in the points, and young Paul Fix, who's running a Jaguar this year. Jerry Simmons, the local favorite here out of Ontario, and Charles Webster. Then in our 9th row, Craig Schaefer and his old body style Camaro, and Joey Scarolo. Now, here's a couple interesting stories. Bobby Sack actually qualified 6th. He's going to be starting back in 20th.
because of apparently an engine change, and then Michael Lewis is going to be in the pits as well. And oh, big story, Gentilozzi's in. Calvin.
He is. He suffered a misfire here on the warm-up lap. They brought it in. They believe they found a spark plug wire off the engine. They've told him to put it back on and get him out of there. He's angry. He wants the hood back on. He wants to get back on track, and he stalls it momentarily. He follows it back on. Now the key is pit lane speed, 45 miles an hour. He has to be cool here. Try and get it back together.
Obviously hoping that if he can get out here still on the pace lap, he'll be able to maybe at least get back up to his 5th starting spot. We have going to be a good one. We're going to be sitting with 3rd place, Johnny Miller, in terms of qualifying. We'll have the view out the front, but we're also going to be able to take a look back at the driver. And Willie T, at this track, watching the driver work sometimes is just a fascinating study.
Especially around here, you can see him weaving it back and forth, trying to get some temperature into those tires on a cold day like this. And I'm going to tell you what, he's going to be on and off. You hear him on the gas, off the gas. Well, that's to get the rear tires warm. Get them, spin them, right? Then get on the brakes and get the front tires warm.
Well, you mentioned that that weather. Let's take a look at it. 45 degrees is all we have here. Low humidity, of course. Wind's not too bad. At least it's going to be dry, only partly cloudy, not any rain in the forecast, which is very important. And Chris Neville, obviously, that's going to have its effects.
Well, definitely. Yeah, I know you guys are nice and warm up in your booth up there, but down here in pit lane, mid-40s, wind chill, mid-30s. So in these first couple laps, look for some big slide jobs. These tires are cold, the street is cold, so it's going to take a while for these guys to get warmed up.
Okay, Chris, and I'll echo what Paul Gentilozzi said about the pity party. Calvin Fish, any last-minute thoughts quickly?
Quick story on fuel strategy here. Some of the guys may try and stretch it very easy on fuel here at Mosport Park. Boris said the other way around. He sees lap 11 as his window. He's going to pit early if he can.
Pace car is in. No Gentilozzi back in the 5th spot. Everybody fills in. Gentilozzi back in the pits, as a matter of fact, and we're green. And it's Leitzinger to the early lead. That is a nice move there by Miller. He's going to... Boris kind of got caught by surprise a little bit. Miller slots into 2nd, Boris 3rd, Bell in 4th, and Dreese up to 5th.
Hey, Greg, I'll tell you what, old Butch Cassidy got the jump on the trigger. I mean, he smoked those guys at the starting line and sort of caught Boris a little bit asleep. And usually Boris is the guy that's quicker on the trigger.
The guy to keep an eye on, I think, here is that 2nd black car on your screen there. That's Lou Gelati. That's that new body style Corvette, which he brought here. They've been just trying to learn it. But in that last practice session, he was quick. But look at Ave. Big move down to the inside into Moss hairpin. And Ave picks up the spot, gets off his rhythm, and it looks as though Stu Hainer has picked that up as well. Now, as we went green, we saw Paul Gentilozzi in the pits. Cal, it's gone from bad to worse.
Well, he's back in here, and they fiddled around with all the electrical system trying to get him back. We're seeing some recovery drives before, but he's almost a lap down, Greg. He's got his work cut out here today.
Well, he needs a yellow. There's no question of that right now. On board with Johnny Miller. He sits 2nd. That's that white sort of generic bodywork on the back of Butch Leitzinger's Vet. He's the leader, driving for Tom Gloy this year, and just didn't have the run he wanted, certainly at Long Beach. But boy, he fired that early shot here and has let him know. Boris now has got back on it. He's sitting in a close 3rd. Then a little bit of a gap back to Bell, Dreese, Ave. Watching the rest of the pack come through. There's number 10, Bobby Sack. Again, qualified 6th, the young rookie. Very impressive, but they had to change an engine. Apparently zinged it a little bit, and that put him all the way to the back of the pack. He is moving up.
Well, little Bobby, I mean, this has got to be one of his best races. I mean, and he's on a track that I think this is the 2nd time he's been here, but he hasn't run much.
No, actually, this is only his 2nd Trans Am start. The other one came here a couple of years ago, and apparently he and his dad, Don, whose team it is, that Stu Hainer also drives for, they're going to switch off and keep him in rookie status so that he can actually run for Rookie of the Year next year, and just get him. He's only going to run 2-3 races, but boy, he's showing he belongs. Meanwhile, look at this. Oh, and now the report comes in, Willie. Gentilozzi leaving the pits, exceeded the speed limit. They may be bringing him in for a stop and go, and that could put him that lap down. Then a yellow won't help him at all. But Dreese up into turn 8, looks to the inside, not close enough, and Bell able to hang on. But Tommy Dreese, he has been very, very quick throughout the weekend here. He's been sneaking up on it, but he's been fast. Then Ave, then Gelati, who has also been doing a good job. This battle right now is for 4th as they come out of turn 10 here at Mosport, and we are just completing the 2nd of 41 laps, very early in the running here. You
know, each session, Tommy got quicker and he sort of started out, and the first practice he was real unhappy. I talked with him, and he says, look, he says, I'm learning about this new rule change with extra aerodynamics on the car. He says, we're not used to quite as fast because we didn't have the downforce. He says, I've got to adapt to the extra downforce, and he's, as you can see, is adapted to it.
Adapted very well, and it showed in that last session where he leapt up with a great time. Meanwhile, on board with Johnny Miller as he sits in second, but he is not letting our leader, Butch Leitzinger, get away. We'll be right back.
Inside every car's engine, friction and wear cut scratches in metal surfaces, causing compression and power loss. Restore with CSL fills these scratches and improves the seal between piston rings and cylinder walls, thereby restoring engine power and reducing oil consumption. Independent tests prove that Restore really works to increase and balance compression across all cylinders. If you have an older car or truck with a lot of miles, improve the engine performance with Restore. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Formula One lives on speed. The cars, works of art and marvels of engineering. The drivers, superstars, and rocket men. Australia to Brazil, Canada to Malaysia.
Checkered flag is out.
Speed Channel takes you around the world with live coverage of Formula One. The beauty of man and machine. The thrill of open-wheeled battle. Formula One, the Monaco Grand Prix. Practice live Thursday, 7 a.m. only on Speed.
Pets, they're part of your family. But pet care, especially pet medication, costs a lot. Until now. Save up to 50% and more at Pet Care RX on medications, including prescriptions and all your pet's other health needs. Pet Care RX carries all heartworm medicines, all flea and tick medicines, and all chronic illness medicines. All delivered direct and all at savings up to 50%, even more on some medications. Have your credit card ready and go to petcarerx.com or call 1-800-773-3862 and see what you can save. Order now and get the exact same medicines, the same brands you're currently using, for up to 50% less. Visit petcarerx.com or call 1-800-773-3862. PetCareRx. Brands you count on. Savings that count.
Welcome back to Mosport. Butch Leitzinger right there, the yellow. Tommy Bahama's bet for Tom Gloy Racing leads it. You can see just behind him is Johnny Miller. Then Boris Said sits in third. The interesting story is Paul Gentilozzi made his stop, that stop and go for apparently speeding in pit lane, and went down a lap. And the report is that he's still got a problem, and we're watching a couple other cars are just driving by him like he's standing still. And Cal, this cannot be sitting well with either Paul or the Rocket Sports team.
Absolutely, Greg. A tough start to this one. Mark Strickland in charge of the crew here. What do you think the problem is with the car?
Well, at this point, we think we followed the spark plug.
Now, how long is it going to take to change one of these? You're going to bring them in pretty quick?
Well, it's not so much changing the one, but finding which ones actually fall is going to probably take putting a lap.
Okay, they're going to bring him in here shortly. They've got 8 spark plugs. Hopefully, it's like Russian roulette here. They're hoping to hit the trigger first.
Well, it's unfortunate. I mean, you can watch, and he's just losing time to everybody. And the interesting thing, Willie, is pretty soon that battle for fourth with Beltrisi, Avi, and Gelati is going to be catching him. And he doesn't want to give up any more than he has to, but that group's got to be catching him soon. That could get interesting.
Well, if he's got a mechanical failure, there's nothing he can do about it, Greg. I mean, they're going to reel him in like a big fish, lap after lap, and he's going to have to let him go. I mean, if it's electrical or a plug wire or whatever the problem he's got, he's hurting for certain.
Those are some of the tough, as Strickland said, it's not so much changing it, it's figuring out which one it is. But Paul's pretty good at carrying speed through corners, and that's where he's going to have to try and hustle the car just a little bit. And we're watching him there. Defending race winner here. I mean, he started on pole and won it last year, and he's in for an awful long day here, especially on the heels of that great win in Long Beach. Ooh, lock up, that's what I'm talking about. He's trying to carry speed anywhere he can now.
Sure, but, you know, he's got to get around the corners fast, because once he gets on the straightaways, this is a horsepower racetrack. It's like Butch Leitzinger. He's got Bobby Cronin horsepower, and Bobby put a bullet in there, and he put it on the pole, shattered the track record. Yep. And so, and Paul Gentilozzi builds his own engines, makes great power, but if you don't have all the juice to it, they're going to get you.
That's a long mile of weaving concrete down the back of Mario Andretti straightaway, and you got to get down there quickly. You mentioned Leitzinger, and he is opening it up. I mean, right now, the last time by his margin, seconds, it's up to 3 now, but look at Johnny Miller. He has got Boris Said applying a huge amount of pressure right now for that second spot. Boris, the bit between his teeth, of course, qualified in second, and had a little bit in hand after qualifying, because it did end up getting shortened because of Butch's crash. Johnny made the point, he goes, the lap I turned there wasn't a white knuckler. I really wasn't trying that hard. We were waiting for a little later in the session too. He said, I got more left. He's showing it right now.
Well, see, the qualifying sessions are short. So, I mean, you've got to hit a good lap right away or qualifying's over. So he didn't get the lap he wanted. But right now, he's in second place, and, you know, he's got Boris working on him. But still, Miller is, right now, he's representing Gentilozzi's team.
And very well,
right.
I might add.
Right.
But the one thing about Boris is the guy's relentless. And, I mean, he will just stay there and hound you and pressure you. Although, I'll tell you, he doesn't seem to be getting down the straight quite like Miller is. Right there, boy, Johnny Miller really opened that gap up on the run down the straight into turn 8. This is an interesting corner, isn't it? I mean, you turn in, it's a high-speed entry. You're literally getting rid of speed, and then do it, and you're suddenly going left in a 9.
Well, when you come up that back straight, I mean, you're climbing a big hill. I mean, you're down in the slowest part of the corner, it's the right-hander, and you climb up a long, it feels like you're going up Mount Everest, right? You get to the top fast right-hander. Hard meaning it's very challenging, and it's fast, and you got to get through. You got to carry speed through it into the next corner. And all these corners, see, you can't tell from the camera angle, but there's a lot of up and down running here. You go downhill, uphill.
Let's take a look here. There's a great split screen. You're watching Johnny Miller in the office here out of turn 3. Now this very fast, and it drops, plummets down into turn 4, and then right here, watch him hard on the brakes, downshift right there, Willie. I mean, everything going on at once, and the loads on the car in that section are amazing.
Oh, I love this shot. I love a shot like that because it shows the driver at work. I mean, for people in the audience at home watching TV, this is what they do. Look at him bang that gearbox, work on that steering wheel. I mean, this is what a driver, this is what he lives for.
And he's coming up to turn 8. Take us through turn 8 here. Watch him going in.
Okay, come up over the top, on the brakes, down a gear, carry through there, carrying, you're about 100 miles per hour, then switch back left, and down on the brakes, down another gear, and accelerate onto the pit straight. Now up a gear.
Is in, and this is, I can't believe this is planned. This is awfully early, but he's in, and looks like it's just a fuel dump. Let's go down to Calvin Fish.
Well, they've hit their pit window, Rick, and the strategy here is, I spoke to Boris Said about this, very close there as he came out. I think there's Tony Avi possibly coming in. Once they hit that window, they believe that if they get in, get back out without losing a lap, then if people do pit under yellow, they will have track position. Let's get down to Chris Neville.
Yeah, I was down in Tony Ave's pits, and he had a beautiful stop down here, other than it looked like he and Butch almost got into each other. And then Mike Lewis came in just behind him, and Mike is trying to make up a little bit of time that he lost, and that penalizing because they made that motor change late after qualifying. So he's back out, and hopefully he's going to get a couple yellows to get him back up to the front.
And Calvin had almost looked at, and Leitzinger's off and damaged. Something, he has gone off in turn 2, and he's wiped the nose right off on those tires down there. Look to see if there's any other damage. The tires on the car look okay. Meanwhile, this is now for the lead. Miller has it, but Boris Said, every time, right there, Boris shows the nose, a little different line into turn 9, and Boris is going to make the move in as well. So everybody going for early stops, apparently, in their pit window. Gentlemen, looks like the pits might be getting pretty busy here.
Absolutely, Greg. Boris said he told me before the start this lap 11 was his window, and they're in a little bit before that, I believe. But new regulation here. No one can be in the pit box prior to the car hitting its marks. They have the lollipop situation there, signaling the driver in, and then the crew goes over the wall. So just a quick splash of gas. Boris back underway with Gentilozzi problems, and now Butch. He could be the man today.
Very possibly. There, his endurance experience and all the stops paid off. I was watching some of the other guys struggling to get out of the pits. He was on it, no slippage, was on it and out of the pits very quickly indeed. So Boris said, nice job. But with all of the activity, Johnny Miller is your race leader. But we're only working lap 10 of 41, and a number of the leaders have already pitted and strategies in play.
The exotic aroma of rubber and fuel, a brilliant rainbow of cars blurring into the turns, the precision of choreographed pit crews. Have you ever wondered how they got there? Let Universal Technical Institute turn your passion for NASCAR into a rewarding career in automotive technology. Call now, 1-800-884-4262 to get on the fast track and begin your automotive training at UTI. NASCAR chose UTI, shouldn't you?
Each week, we spend more than 20 hours looking through glass. Now, there's a way to clean glass so well, you'll think it's not there. Invisible Glass. Other cleaners use inexpensive soaps and foams that streak. Invisible Glass is formulated for quick cleaning and maximum clarity. Invisible Glass cleans glass so well, you'll think it's invisible. Invisible Glass.
April 15th has come and gone again, and you still have a tax problem. Don't be another IRS victim. The IRS is now reconciling back-owed taxes, levies, liens, payroll taxes, even penalties. The law offices of Ronnie Deutsch can end your IRS tax nightmare for only pennies on the dollar. What are you waiting for? Settle your IRS problems for pennies on the dollar.
For a free tax analysis, call the law office of Ronnie Deutsch at 800-706-9954. That's 800-706-9954.
Tonight on Speed, review all things racing at 7 o'clock with Speed News. Then starting at 8, the ARCA Series races at Lowe's. And at 11, Leg 3 of the World Rally Championship from Argentina. So keep it dialed into Speed.
A great day of live action coming at you here on Speed today. Remember, at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, live coverage of the second round of the American Le Mans Series Championship from Sears Point. Live right here on Speed today, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Just in the afternoon in front of your TV, watch some great road racing here. We want to take you back. Obviously, we just caught the tail end of Leitzinger going off after he came out of the pits. He is back in again now. He has made a couple of stops since that incident, so the damage to the front of that car obviously more severe. Let's watch it. And
you know what, Greg? He just came out of the pits. He made his pit stop, and this was his first lap out. And turn 2, he got into turn 2, and maybe the tires had cooled down on that stop. I mean, and weather like this, the tires will go cold instantly, right? So you drive out of the pits, you go down into turn 2, which is one of the fastest and one of the most difficult because it's you go up over the top of the hill, the car gets light, and if you're a little bit outside and the tires don't have the heat in them, you're going to slide off, and that's what looked like happened.
Well, he would have too because he was coming out of the pit, so pit exits on that right side, so he may have been in the junk. Let's go back down to Calvin, see how things are going.
Well, Butch is back in. You can see some damage to the top side there of the tires that sits in pit lane, and there may be some damage to that right front corner. I tried to speak to Butch, and he just kind of waved. He's in communication with his crew right now, but they're checking him out. Let's see if I can get a microphone in here. Butch, what happened?
I can't talk.
He can't talk right now. He's obviously just trying to get back out there. He's signaling with the crew. They're in communication, but doesn't look like there's too much trouble. Meanwhile, it looks like Justin Bell is just pulling in with the Durhard Corvette. This strategy, I'm surprised, really, that no one's rolling the dice here. I mean, they only need a splash here to do the 101 miles here. You would think they'd be looking for more caution and maybe trying to go the distance.
Well, you know, I tell you what, Cal, Johnny Miller is staying out. And whatever these other drivers are doing, he's not doing. And I can't figure out the strategy right now as to why Miller's out and Dreezy's out, and the other guys are coming in.
Well, it's interesting, too, because Dreezy hasn't, you know, he was one of the players up front, but Hayner, he has stayed out, and he's made up a lot of ground. Bobby Sack just stopped, but he'd worked his way up to 5th. I mean, you always have to be thinking about your track position, always about track position. Now, this is Mike Lewis. Now, he is coming in for a stop-and-go black flag. It is his second time, he has exceeded the speed limit in pit lane. So his day's going from bad to worse as well, for the simple reason that he keeps going too fast through the pits.
Well, one thing about this, when you're running 180 miles per hour, and then you come in and have to go to 45 miles per hour, sometimes it's hard to judge that.
Well, they don't have rev limiters either. I mean, they don't have that capability. That's number 95, Charles Webster, the C.J. Webster of Canada vet, just running a little wide there at the exit of turn 3. And but getting back to what we were saying, so the only rev limiter you have is your head, in terms of, I know that at this rev in a certain gear I'm below that, and your right foot. That's it. Let's go back, take a look at what happened to Charles Webster. Oh, he may have had a little help, huh?
Oh yeah. They got together going into the corner, and he got turned around.
I think that may have been Bobby Sack, who had just stopped and then was coming back out. They may have got together there. So now Webster didn't lose a lot of time with it. Got to be a little concerned about how the car is working. He'll figure that out in a big hurry, and he may even elect now to come in and make a stop. But nonetheless, it's been interesting. We're on board now with our leader, John. With everything that's evolved and developed already this race, Johnny Miller is looking very, very good right now. He's got good track position. The car seems to be working exceptionally well for him, and he has had no problems whatsoever. The only concern is, as Boris said, who's pitted and has had no problems either.
Now the same feeling is available in a car.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Introducing the all-new Mazda Protege 5.
Yeah, zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Same feeling.
Zoom, zoom.
New form.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, zoom, zoom. Hey, mom. Yeah, zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, zoom, zoom.
Now you can access over 1 million unpublished airfares. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Cheap Tickets has airfares you can't find anywhere else, and they're up to 40% off. Cheap Tickets, the best kept secret in travel for over 15 years.
The rumble of a big V-twin makes your blood race. You grew up on the pegs of a dirt bike. You can smell a carb running rich from a mile away. Call 1-800-994-3664 to find out how you can become one of the best technicians in the world. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute.
Welcome back to Mosport, on board with Johnny Miller, and things are getting interesting. He has now caught Mike Lewis. Of course, Lewis in danger of going down yet another lap due to his numerous occurrences in the pits, and he does not want that to happen, but there's little doubt that. And Miller looked inside, feinted inside, now has gone outside. Lewis went right to the middle of the track. Boy, he is fighting. You see the blues from the corner workers. And it's a long way to do it, but looks like Johnny Miller is going to get around. And Calvin Fish, his first moment in traffic, he got through with it.
Well, the big question down here is, what is his fuel strategy? Bobby Houghton is on the radio with Johnny, and we're seeing a lot of the front-running guys. He's actually hearing something now for Johnny, so we've got to break away for a moment. But he said he got about 3 more laps before they hit their pit window, so the strategy is slightly different. We talked about the horsepower that these Rocket Sports engines make, and maybe that's meaning that they're not getting the fuel consumption. But they're busy right now. We're going to try and catch up with them in a moment.
Well, Calvin, while you're waiting, a question for you. The guys, and obviously did it under green, have committed to the tires that they have. If we have a yellow and somebody's overcooked something on a day that it's cool like this, maybe that's not an issue, but it seems like they maybe have more options if they stay out.
Oh, absolutely. If you try and roll the dice a little bit and stay out there and do your pit stop at the end, if you do need tires, you then have that option. Certainly they're not going to change them early and cost any time in the pit lane, but it seems like everyone is thinking, come in early, get the pit stop done, don't go down a lap, and then if everyone comes in under yellow, you'll then have track position. But Johnny Miller right now may have a problem because his crew chief is out on pit wall.
Well, we'll certainly follow up on that, but Willie, Calvin made a comment about the power that the horsepower Rocket Sports engines are legendary for. That means thirsty, and you'd mentioned to me during the break even that with both he and Dreesy staying out, maybe that was the Rocket Sports plan to stay out later. Now Calvin says maybe they had to.
Well, maybe. I'll tell you what, Greg. You know, Gentilozzi is famous for making a lot of horsepower, and a lot of the other engine builders have had to match him. I mean, it's like, you know, a poker game. You know, you got to come up with the right cars, and on a horsepower track like this, it's going to be interesting to see how Johnny and how Dreesy, and maybe they're strategizing. I mean, because right now Dreesy's in second, but Johnny's taken off.
Yeah, and Dreesy's got company because that's Stu Hainer, of course. Stu qualified in the 9th spot, moved up to 8th because his teammate Bobby Sack went to the back. Stu hasn't pitted yet, and he has run down Dreesy, and the two of them now starting to have a pretty good scrap here for second. And that turn 2, you can see the cars, that little bit of slip angle down to the exit of 2. It's amazing. It's so off camber that it literally feels like you're falling off the edge of a cliff going down.
Oh, yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, the camera angle, you can't see. Now, you can see a drop there. Well, that other corner turns, and it's even faster. So, you know, you look at a racetrack with a lot of banking. Well, this track is reverse bank, and the corners are real long to go with it. And now the tires are starting to wear. You see them slip more.
Yep.
In qualifying, they weren't slipping.
Yeah, a little bit of wiggle there.
Right.
Of course, they've been out a lot of laps. Johnny Miller right now clear track. But Calvin, have you been able to find out, is there a problem?
Well, Bobby, let's get a quick word with you. I know you're busy. You're on the radio. He's just watching Johnny go by. What was the problem there? We saw you scurrying around.
I had a little contact with car 12. Just want to check out the nose, make sure it's still happy. It is.
What is your strategy? I mean, you're saying your window was a little bigger than the other ones. Well, actually smaller. You had to wait a little bit longer. You're going to bring him in early, or you're looking for a yellow?
We're looking for a yellow.
And then you're hoping that you still keep that track position, I assume.
We got a pretty big fuel window, so we can go up to lap 28 before we need gas. So.
Okay, well, now they're going in that direction, guys. They may stay out several laps longer and see if they do get that yellow they're looking for. But Boris said is out there. He's not too far behind, and he's already made his pit stop.
Well, it's true. I mean, right now, Dreesy is 11 seconds behind his teammate Miller. Hainer right on his tail, but only another, 10 seconds behind them, as Boris said. He's already trimmed 2-3 seconds off that margin.
Well, I'm going to tell you this about pit stops. Now, at a place like Long Beach, you're in a ring, right? Walls everywhere. You're going to have pit stops, cautions at Long Beach because of the kind of track it is. You know, the wall's right there. You're going to see cars into the wall. You're going to see a lot of yellows. Around a track like this, you know, I don't know. I mean, there's that gamble again. Because if you're running down a big highway here, wide, fast, you're not going to have as many cars going off and getting yellows.
Well, that's very true, and so far it has been absolutely clean and green, and that here means it is fast. Oh, right there. Stu Hainer took a look. Dreesy covered it, but Stu Hainer very good, I think, about that car. So this battle is going to be getting pretty intense in just a little bit here. We are completing lap 19 of 41, so we're already closing in on half distance here at Mosport.
When you travel, don't downsize, Amerisize at AmeriSuites. Need more room to spread out? Get more workspace and features like high-speed internet access. Plus, unwind in a suite for the price of an ordinary hotel room. And when it comes to breakfast, don't downsize, Amerisize. Get AmeriSuites' free bountiful breakfast buffet every morning. Don't downsize, Amerisize at AmeriSuites.
Enter AmeriSuites Trans Am Racing Team Sweepstakes to win a Jaguar.
But not mine. Today on Speed, after 2 months off, the American Le Mans Series is back. 4 classes of cars will converge on Sears Point for the Grand Prix of Sonoma. Live coverage of the American Le Mans Series Grand Prix of Sonoma today at 4.
Fed up with yo-yo diets and food fads? Do you need help making the right diet choices? Introducing NutriCounter, the electronic organizer that monitors and measures your food. Not just a calorie counter, it creates a program for your individual goals. Lose or gain weight, reduce cholesterol, fat, sodium, and sugar. Manage fiber, protein, and carbs. Type in your food and it displays the nutritional content and adds up your totals for the day. If you go over your goal, the line flashes. It's like having a personal diet counselor. There's over 2,000 built-in foods, including fast foods, or add your own. NutriCounter looks like a calculator so you can discreetly
discreetly use it anywhere.
I use the Nutri-Counter to watch my sodium intake, and I lost weight.
Call the toll-free number to find out how you can invest in Nutri-Counter to start enjoying a lifetime of diet success. Enjoy success the Nutri-Counter way. Call now.
To order your Nutri-Counter or for more information, call 1-800-815-9094 toll-free right now. That's 1-800-815-9094. Call now.
Next round of the Trans Am Championship, you're not going to want to miss it. It comes up in 1 week's time. It too will be live on Speed from Lime Rock Park. Talk about your bull ring and high speed at that. May 27th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Lime Rock Park, round 3 of the Trans Am Series, live on Speed. And look at this battle here. Now, as you can see, Stu Hainer, right before we came back, just nipped underneath and picked up that second spot going into Moss Hairpin, but Dreese comes right back after him again. Very, very stout. Now the question is now with Stu out in front, is he going to be able to ease away, or is Tommy going to be able to come back after him? And the bigger story, perhaps, is that Boris Sed's coming in as well. Let's go back while we take a look. Down through 4.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that, you can see Dreese keeping inside, but then he saw Stu coming, and that was a good, clean pass. And right now, it's too early in the race to start banging on each other. I mean, we're just at halfway point. So that was a good move by Tommy, and it was a good move by Stu. But they're still playing poker.
Still playing poker, and but I'd say that was a pretty good lead bet right there by Stu Hainer. Let's check in with Chris Neville, who's with the crew.
Yeah, I'm with Shane Duhame, who is the crew chief for Stu Hainer. Shane, right now, your guys in second place, putting a lot of heat on Rocket Sports. When are you guys going to be coming in?
We're just hoping to catch a yellow here, probably the next 5 or 6 laps and pit under yellow. If not, we're going to end up doing it under green. We had 2 cars out there today, and we figured we'd try both strategies, pitting early and pitting late, and see which one works best. But Stu and Bobby are both doing a really good job out there today, and we're just hoping for good things at the end. Still a long ways to go.
Well, Stu's gotten by Tommy, and now he's on his way up to Johnny. We'll see what the pit looks like.
Thanks, Chris. And obviously you mentioned Bobby Sack. Again, an awesome performance in qualifying for the young rookie. Only a second ever start. Ends up qualifying 6th. Just a 10th off of Paul Gentilozzi. That says something. Went to the back, essentially, because of that engine change. He's up to 10th, and he's stopped already. Well, so that's a great strategy play. Play one and play the other one.
Play 2, but it says a lot for the Sack team.
Let me jump in here. Apparently, Tommy Dreese's made the decision to stop Cal.
Yes, he is, Greg. He's in right now. Looks like a routine stop. These stops actually look a little bit slow this week, but it's just not seeing guys over the pit wall and ready. That's a new regulation really brought out for safety. They saw some problems at Long Beach. They've changed the rules since then, meaning that they have to come in, hit their pit box, then we see the guys going over the wall.
Well, Calvin, also with the problems we saw with some spilt fuel at Long Beach, taking a little more time making sure that everything's clean.
I think so, and you know, whenever you start a new season, there's always a lot of wrinkles to iron out, so to speak, and these boys at Long Beach weren't really in their rhythm yet, but I'm sure they've practiced it since that time, and round 2, round 3, they're just
wrinkles, Cal. We're watching Bobby Sack, who has a lot of damage to the lower right front corner of that car, and the splitter is absolutely vibrating. Pieces are flying off of it. I'm not sure how long that part of that car is going to be able to stay together and whether he's going to be able to stay out. And it's got to be killing him on these long, high-speed corners and that straight, too, aerodynamically.
Well, you know, you can see that front end beating itself up there. And as much frontal downforce as you get, I mean, it's banging off the track, but still, and the faster you go, the more it pushes it down onto the track. So it destroys itself even more as you go faster.
Well, and as it's flipping like that, as it actually kisses the ground, it loses some of the aerodynamic effect, and I mean, that kills you under braking as well, doesn't it?
Actually, you see that hole there on the right front? It causes lift there. Air actually gets underneath there and lifts the front end up. And he'll feel it coming up this hill here. As fast as he's going, he'll feel the front end get lighter. He'll feel the steering wheel get lighter.
Must be fun right here.
Oh, yeah. Crest that hill.
Oh, you can see it. Lock up. He was braking way early there, wasn't he?
I don't blame him.
Well, Bobby Sack, I mean, it has been a great weekend, even with the problems that he had in terms of the the qualifying and the engine change and going back. We should mention, by the way, this is the month of May is National Missing Children's Awareness Month. And one thing that this team has done, both in their World Challenge and now their Trans Am program, is they're very involved with the Missing Children's Society. They've hooked up with the society here in Canada this weekend. They got a picture on the front of that car. It's Gavin Hollett, and what they're trying to do, he is a missing child, and they're trying to just get some awareness. Leaders in, Cal.
Well, Johnny Miller hits the mark. The crew goes to work. You see a little bit of spillage there coming from the dump can up to 11 gallons they can put in here. Remember last year, Johnny Miller finished every lap. He's had 13 straight top 10. Momentary balk there, loaded up a little bit as he went out 45 miles an hour. Will he beat Boris set out when he hits pit exit? Will Boris be by him?
We're certainly going to watch that. The other thing that we were wondering about, and we'll come back to you on that one, Cal, is how much fuel? Do they have to go with a full tank of fuel, or can they do time dump? Miller comes out. We do not see Boris Said yet. Now, of course, Stu Hainer has gone to the lead, but he has not yet stopped. Watching, waiting, still have not seen Boris. Now, perhaps Boris has already gone by. There's Dreesy. So Boris may have already gone through. There's Paul Gentilozzi, of course, way down the order. He's 14th, but he's a lap down, back on board with Miller. And right now, everything's got to settle. We know that Stu Hainer, though, has not stopped, and Stu has picked up the lead. But Johnny Miller going a little bit later before he stopped, rolling the dice on strategy.
How would you like to be able to get any stain off of virtually any surface, guaranteed? Introducing the new Zap Total Restoration Kit. Professional strength restorers, each specially formulated to restore surfaces back like new. Think that ink stain has ruined your expensive Corian countertop? Don't replace it, zap it. Zap even works on impossible stains like hard water and rust. Cleaners only work on surface dirt, but Zap concentrated restorers penetrate deep down, restoring surfaces back like new. Zap is as easy as 1, 2, 3. On tile and grout, just spray it on, let it sit, and wipe it off. On vinyl and linoleum floors, just spray it on, let it sit, and wipe it off. Hard water stains on glass shower doors, spray it on, let it sit, and wipe it off. Watch as we use Zap on this old brass fixture. In just seconds, it's restored like new. Not even dried-on black permanent marker can stand up to professional strength Zap. Zap restorers are so effective, they're guaranteed to remove any stain from any of these surfaces or your money back.
With the Zap kit, I was able to restore all of the surfaces in my home. If I had to call in a professional, it would have cost over $10,000. I am amazed with the Zap products.
It would cost over $30,000 to replace all the surfaces you've seen restored in this commercial. But why replace it when you can restore it with the Zap Total Restoration Kit, all for only $19.95? Call now and we'll upgrade your kit to include a free sprayer attachment, 2 industrial Zap pads, a free bottle of Zap Colored Grout Restorer, plus a free bottle of Zap Wood Restorer. It's safe for any wood, any finish, even priceless antiques. But that's not all. Call in the next 5 minutes and we'll double your order for free. That's right, 8 bottles of Zap for only $19.95. Operators are standing by, so call the toll-free number or send check or money order to Zap Double Offer, Box 1234, Northridge, California, 913. Call in the next 5 minutes to receive 4 free bottles of Zap. Order now.
Welcome back to Mosport. There is your leader, Stu Hainer. Now, Stu is really the only driver in this lead group of machines that has not yet pitted. There's Boris Said, currently sits in second. He, in fact, did got by really rather comfortably by Miller. Boris sits in second and is the lead driver of the group that has not yet pitted, and he's only about a second or so behind Hainer. The more interesting development is, according to the timing and scoring, he's about 15 seconds clear of Miller, but in between them is Tony Ave, who has stopped. Mr. Tony Ave could find himself being a major player in this one.
Yeah, well, as long as it takes to get in and out of the pits, and with as close as Tony is to them, he'll be up on top once they go in.
And I think our leader has just made the move down into the pits. That looks like Hainer's car, and he is in, and he's heading right toward Chris Neville, and this will be an interesting strategy call, Chris.
Yeah, these guys, they're going to go with some tires, too. Not only fuel, they're setting up for a tire change, and they're putting stickers on, which is an interesting decision on such a cold day, because it's going to take a couple laps for those tires to come in. Now they're just starting to get the car up in the air, so they're being a little bit slow on the tire change, and I'm not sure if this strategy is really going to work out for these guys. He's going to have to make up a lot of time on the racetrack. Everything else looks to be going pretty good, but they're planning on doing 4 tires here, guys. And they're still working on the left side of the car. Bobby Sack, his teammate, was in earlier with front end damage. They did a little bit of tape job on that car. It only looked like it was body work. But Stu is still up in the air. It looks like they're just going to do left side only. And now he's back out, and it looks like he's also going to get a time penalty here.
Oh, boy, that is going to kill him, isn't it?
Well, that's going to hurt him bad.
Well, and Chris, obviously, by staying out, unlike last year, you don't have to. Unlike last year, you don't have to put a full can
man
of fuel
over the
in.
wall.
That's what it was. Penalty for man over the wall, and that puts Boris Said in the lead. And here he comes around, so we're going to see how that's going to shake out. But Willie, last year you had to put a can of fuel in the car. This year they've changed that, so whatever he gained in terms of being able to, instead of dumping a full 11 gallons in, doing a time fill on that, he lost it with that tire change. Kind of an interesting strategy call, Cal.
Greg, as you mentioned, they've changed the regulations this year. Last year, you could put in up to 11 gallons, but you had to prescribe how many gallons you were putting in prior to the race start. This year, it's just like the sports car race we're going to see later this afternoon on Speed from Sears Point, where it's a real pit stop. They can change the tires just as we saw with Hayner whilst the fuel is going in. Last year, you couldn't do that. You got 2 wheel guns, 5 men can be over the wall. Everything can be done at the same time.
The interesting thing to me is, and I think Chris hit it, was how bad could those tires have been used up unless he really used them up in qualifying?
Well, maybe he's anticipating a yellow flag at the end. Now, and he's going to have it now to get back to the front. He's got to have a yellow to get there. And if he gets there, and if it happens, maybe he's thinking, all right, I gambled right. I'm on a better set of tires, and when they get to green at the finish, he'll be stronger.
Of course, even though it's cold here, you've said it so many times, you're in these corners so long that it is traditionally hard on tires. Even on a cold day like this, I think everybody went with the soft compound tires, so that's a problem. There is Tony Ave, who now sits in the second spot. Is it possible, do you think, unless you're just absolutely railing on the car, to really damage a set of tires?
All right, and remember, Stu Hayner worked hard on Dreezy to get by Dreezy. Now, a driver uses up tires more to pass a guy than the driver in front to keep him behind him. Because when you're trying to pass somebody, you got to break in harder. You got to get off the corner harder to set up the pass.
Tighter radius in the corner.
Everything you work the tires harder to pass somebody than you do to keep the guy behind you.
Well, so possibly he did indeed heat him up. Interesting, looking at the fast time so far, Boris Said has turned a 1:19 flat. Ave's at a 1:19.32. Miller's best lap, a 1:19.34. Bell at a 1:19.49, who currently now sits in the 4th spot. Look who's 5th, a guy named Gelati at a 1:19.8. He's up in the top 5, but I don't think Sweet Lou's been in yet.
Well, Lou's always fast around this track. He's very fast in Mosport, and they call this Mosport Park. This is testosterone park here. Lou's carrying a lot.
Oh, yeah, Lou can hustle the car, no question of that. But tell you what, Tony Ave doing a very nice job here. He's played the strategy beautifully, sitting in the 2nd spot. Problem is, up front is this guy, Boris Said, and he's about 13.5 seconds clear right now. So Boris Said really has this one in his pocket, and he's just got to drive it to the end. On board with Miller, we'll be right back.
Hey, what's with the cap? You got a Little League game today or something? Nah, I'm just used to it. You know about their hair. They got different ways of dealing with it, especially if you got flakes. Here's how I deal with it. I tell them to use Head and Shoulders. It goes directly to the scalp to help stop flakes before they even start. So you end up looking like you were born with a great head of hair. Now, who'd want to cover that up? Oh, forgot your hat. No thanks.
Head and Shoulders shampoo. Unbeatable daily dandruff protection. Unbelievably beautiful hair.
Tonight on Speed, review all things racing at 7 o'clock with Speed News. Then starting at 8, the ARCA Series races at Lowe's. And at 11, Leg 3 of the World Rally Championship from Argentina. So keep it dialed into Speed.
Now you can create your own beautiful backyard oasis, complete with a sparkling water feature, soothing waterfall, and impressive boulders. What better way to enhance the beauty of your garden as well as the value of your home? Imagine a synthetic boulder water feature with the look and feel of real rock. You'd have to pay a specialty contractor over $7,000 to create this beautiful oasis. But now you can do it yourself for under $700. And you'll find everything you need at any major home improvement center.
We did it ourselves.
Pro Rock made it easy and affordable.
Order the Pro Rock Water Feature Video and Tech Manual today. Over 2 hours of comprehensive and easy-to-follow instructions guiding you step-by-step in creating a high-quality permanent water feature complete with synthetic boulders. The School of Synthetic Rock Construction, America's #1 trainer of contractors in the industry, will train you to create these amazingly strong yet realistic boulders and a beautiful waterfall pond through this special video offer. Call today and create your own beautiful backyard oasis. Just one easy payment of $49 will save you thousands. Call now.
You want extreme racing? It's World Rally Championship from the FIA, and the next one is Rally Argentina, coverage starting tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Speed. Rally Argentina, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. That is some amazing stuff to watch. Great drive going on right now by Boris Said. Tony Ave has continued to drop his lap times, though, but the thing is, he's running a little quicker than Boris right now, but not enough to make up a lot of ground. And then there's a fair amount of distance back to Johnny Miller. So some interesting stuff developing here. But right now, Calvin Boris Said really has this one in control. It's up to him to win it or lose it, I think.
Well, it appears to be this way, and we're going to talk to Chris Willis here about Boris's strategy. You're on the radio with Boris, and you guys came in early behind Johnny Miller, but those laps that Boris put in between your stop and Miller's stop gave him the lead, a big one, in fact.
Right. We planned before the race just to lay back, be patient till we did our fuel stop, and then start going after it. Boris just done a great job. He's just cruising right now.
Looking at the lap times, Tony Alve seems to be marginally quicker than Boris. Is that a concern for you?
We got about a 13-second lead right now with less than 10 laps. We're not concerned. We just want him to just keep the pace up he's doing, and I think we'll be okay.
All right, mate. Good luck.
Thanks.
You know, Willie, it sounds like Boris has pulled a Schumacher here. Those laps after the stop were indeed brilliant.
Oh, it was smart, and he rolled the dice. But see, Boris is Big Boris is smart.
Oh, yeah.
And Boris knows how to get into a rhythm. He'll get out front, and he'll just sit out there and be smooth as silk. I mean, he looks like a pool player right now, right? And just smooth, just drive. And he knows that Avi has got to run harder on his tires to catch him.
Well, that's true. And Chris Neville right now, if Tony's going to do that, he's got to use up some serious carb.
Yeah, I just spoke with Tony Ave's crew chief, and they're doing anything they can. Tony's got a lot of experience in all different types of cars, and he's going through his bag of tricks, but that 14 seconds in between he and Boris is a long way, and when you're only a couple tenths quicker, less than 10 laps to go, he's probably not going to get there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys, really, I think realistically, everybody chasing Boris right now needs some help. They either need a yellow or they need Boris to stumble somewhere, and Boris doesn't do that real often. Even that last corner, or the first corner, that last lap at Long Beach, that was a minor little stumble. It cost him, but it did cost him a lot of time. I mean, I think Boris really is in control here.
See, what Tony knows is the team is telling Tony, all right, babe, just keep this pace. This is your interval. Now, you're not really bringing him in. You're bringing him in a little bit. But if Tony decides, all right, I'm going to try to bring him in faster, then Tony might end up going slower because he's hurting the car. He's driving it harder, putting more temperature into the tires, making it slide more, and then he actually starts going slower and losing to Boris. Yeah. So he's got to run that pace, and hopefully maybe somebody goes off the road or they get debris or something, and the old yellow comes out.
And that's what he'd be liking right now. Calvin?
To add something on Tony Alve, he's running the injected motor, and remember, that's 50 extra pounds handicap. You have to carry that machine, so on a long run here on the tires, that'll have an effect as well.
Well, Calvin, keep in mind, I mean, Tony Ave, he's been an interloper in Trans Am. He's done a few races over the years, but his first full season with a decent ride and only his second race to be second, that's not shabby.
Oh, no, he's doing a great job out there. Tony's always shown the speed, and now he's got an operation together and a team behind him to run the entire season. I mean, Long Beach was certainly a disappointment, but they're trying to put that behind them and start their season here at Mosport.
And doing really a great job at this point. The margin's still right about 14 seconds. Actually, Tony got caught a little bit, lost about a half second to Boris, who really threw in a quick lap. And I think Boris, you were talking to Tony, Willie, and giving him the gap. Same thing going on with Boris. He knows what's happening.
Oh, yeah. The Boris's team is probably talking to Boris more than Tony's team, because Boris is in the airplane right now, and he knows exactly what's going on. I mean, he's getting ground control is talking to him, right? All right, and they're letting him know every lap where Tony is. So Boris is going to say, okay, Tony tries to raise it up a little bit, and Boris, I'll match you, just to keep you at that interval behind me, 14 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever interval is. You're going to run just as hard as the guy who's chasing you, just to keep him back there.
Well, folks, here's a nice piece of news for you. Whatever this chess game, however it unfolds, whatever developments it has, you're going to see it right to the end. We're not going to step away for any commercial breaks. We're going to take it right for the checkered flag. So should something develop here, you're going to see it as it happens. And there, as Boris said, problem for Ave. That just caught the end of it. I don't know whether he spun. It looked like either debris or fluid off of that left front corner. And if he spun and gathered some junk up, that may have been it. But look who's right behind him. This is Johnny Miller. This is for position. All of that margin has gone. And there's Ave. And right there is Johnny Miller. And Ave, there's some smoke at the back of that car, Willie.
The back, and he can't stay down low.
Look at the windshield of Miller,
yeah,
too.
something's coming out of Avi's car, some sort of fluid leak, and Miller is going to get him. Miller will get him, and there's nothing Tony can do. He can't fight that off.
Now, offline here, it has been a little damp, but I mean, that may just be some water that Tony gathered up. They've had some weather and some rain here, so it could be that's getting back on Miller's windscreen. We hope that's all it is, certainly for Tony's sake, but nonetheless, that has given Boris a substantial margin here, but made this battle for second much more heated.
Well, Boris doesn't have anything to worry about right now. Tony's job right now is to keep Johnny off of him. Tony is not thinking about Boris, he's thinking about Johnny Miller.
Now we're going to take you back and see if we can figure out what happened with Tony Ave, Willie, and let's watch it. Oh, traffic.
Now I saw steam coming out of the hood of that car.
Look, yeah,
right
something
there.
let go, didn't it?
And some let go, and maybe some fluid went onto his rear tires and helped him spin like that. I mean, any type of fluid you got on those rear tires, that back end's going to break away.
Yeah, well, and I noticed in the very first part, as he was still sideways but on the track, there was a big dark line behind the car, and it was a tire. So it may have been fluid, exactly what you talked about. Something pumped out, got on those rear tires.
What's interesting is the fluid is no longer coming out the back, and he's fighting Johnny pretty strong now.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, he's opened it up again just a little bit over Miller. Down through turn one, we're keeping an eye on it. Don't know what that is. We're going to take another look at that, and if you can see what I'm talking about, look right where he loses it, right there. See that line?
Yes, yeah, I see it.
That's on his tires.
There's something, and that line followed him right off into the grass, and then you can see the steam come out over the top, right there.
Yep. So apparently something let loose, got onto his tires. The question is it something, just an overflow bottle that dumped sideways, or is it something that is going to create him some serious problems here? He's not backing off at all.
Well, it sure hasn't hurt his speed or his acceleration, because as we wind this down, I mean, Miller wants that position, and that's
he pulls out.
That's it.
That may be an engine tightening up.
Right. Some line came off that engine because by him
easily. But Tony does not pit. He stays out, so he's trying to scrap for this podium. But Miller now up into second, and it's Ave, Chris, back in third and struggling.
Yeah, I just spoke with Tony Ave's crew chief, and they weren't even sure that he went off the track. They initially thought a tire was going down, but Tony's saying that the fluids gauges are all reading fine. He doesn't think a tire is going down anymore. The car is just acting a little bit weird, and he's doing whatever he can right now to try and stay out there.
All right, Chris. Well, I don't know about you, Willie, but I still seem to be seeing little puffs of smoke on occasion from the back of that car. And there was seriously something coming out of that car down in Moss.
Yeah, because there it is. And Claudio Burton, who's I don't know how many laps down, is getting ready to pass him.
I think he just went by Claudio, but now Claudio, you're right, he's coming back at him.
There he is.
Tony's slowing noticeably. Yeah, he is well off the pace. And for a moment there, I thought maybe he had an axle seal letting go, but you wouldn't have thought that would dump out that much fluid on the track. So he is back. And here comes Justin Bell, fourth spot, and he's going to be third. Right now, Justin Bell moves up into the top three, another podium that he would sure like to, he'd like to be on the podium after up seventh at Long Beach. The podium would be pretty sweet right now. Justin Bell, I'll tell you what, this guy too, much like Butch, much like Boris, so much endurance, sports car experience, and also just very, very fast, and he always seems to be able to get to the front.
Well, with that endurance experience that Bell has got, Butch Leitzinger's got, and Boris has got, that experience helps you pace a car.
Yep.
I mean, it teaches you to conserve the tires and the chassis.
They have a car left at the end. Even in sprint racing like Trans Am, that's huge. Ave is in, and by the way, folks, we're looking at the white flag next time by, and they are absolutely flying. Here, as Boris said, his best average lap is 112 miles an hour. It gives you an idea how fast this track is, but their average speed is well over 100 miles an hour. No yellows. Flowing race. Here comes Boris, and we anticipate the white flag. There it is, 1 to go here at Mosport. And Boris said he has got himself almost a 20-second lead. He's got a little bit of traffic, but he's got a big enough margin easily to be patient.
Let me tell you what, for a race driver, Greg, this is one of the greatest laps you can have. You got a big lead. Unless the car breaks down, you know you've won the race, or flat drove off the track. So this is your last lap. You look out, see the trees, see some of your friends, right? I mean, you enjoy this lap because every corner, you're counting the corners down, and going up the back straight, maybe practice your victory speech. Oh yeah.
Well, and let's put it in perspective too. We don't mean to keep going back to that Long Beach last lap, but I mean, Boris led 18 straight laps. Looked like he was going to get that big win there. Had that little mistake, which he freely admitted. How sweet is this one going to feel to come back the very next race and win it big?
Oh yeah. I mean, he was right there at the end at Long Beach, and the brawl happened. Now he can. This what do they call it? Redemption.
Maybe that's a good way to put it. And guess what? With Ave's problems, Lou Gelati is fourth, and Randy Ruhlman has come up to fifth. But right now, it's all about the win, and that means it's all about Boris Said, the Applied Computer Solutions Express. Panos out of the last turn. The salute to the crew by the wall, and Boris Said has won round 2 here at Victoria Day at Mosport. And I'll tell you what, this crew has worked hard, played the strategy beautifully, and Boris Said did the job. There's Mike Lewis coming by a couple laps down, of course, with some of his problems. To give you an idea just how big Boris's lead was after Ave's problems, we're still waiting for Johnny Miller. Here he comes. Johnny Miller takes second. You saw Bobby Sack real squirrely come through. He, too, down a couple of laps, but that's what Johnny Miller was driving through after he followed Tony Ave for a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Ave hung in there as long as he could, and you just can't give in.
Yep.
When that car starts to break down on you, if it's still running, a driver, he's going to drive it. He's going to drive it until it can't go any quicker, and then he's going to park it into the pits and see.
That was a battle right there. Gelati just holding off Randy Ruhlman for 4th and 5th. What a great finish for that battle. But again, Calvin up front, Boris Said wins it. I think Willie put it right. Redemption.
Well, absolutely. And Chris Willis is the crew chief of Bars. You have to feel good. You came so close at Long Beach. You saw him lead going in the final lap there, and we all saw that classic last lap. This one has to feel even better.
Oh, it's awesome, man. Boris is just such a great driver, and team did great, such a great job, and Mike and Sandy Davis, they're the best team owners ever, you know. So Mike and Sandy, I know you're watching. Way to go. This is great. Good for you, man.
Congratulations.
All right, thanks. I'd like to say hey to my wife and kids, Leslie, Lisa, and Sarah. I'll be home soon. Bye.
That's absolutely great. Keep in mind, considering Boris Said was second at Long Beach with the win here, he is going to move by with Gentilozzi struggling only to 10th. Boris is going to find himself in the points lead in the Trans Am Series for the B.F. Goodrich Tires Trans Am Cup as well. You got to be loving that, but as you said, that last lap when you got a big lead's got to feel good. This victory lap with a hand out the window is even better. We'll be back.
If a car
Willie, this is a team sport.
I'll tell you what, the team, they put the hours in. They get up at 6 in the morning, at the track at 7. They're there all day, right?
And hopefully they give a guy like this the car he needs, and then Calvin, he puts in the drive he did.
He absolutely did. It's the first win for Panos, but Boris Said your 4th Trans Am win, and this one has to feel good. How patient were you in those early laps? Very un-Boris-like, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's new me. In NASCAR, they taught me to be patient, kind of, as patient as I can be. But, I mean, this whole Applied Computer Solutions team that Mike and Sandy Davis put together, I mean, after Long Beach, Chris Willis, the engineer, and my man Ralph and Neil over here, they put some new suspension on, new exhaust, really got the car going. And, you know, it feels good for Panos. Mark Sanderson, who left Panos, put a lot of hard work in on these Panoses. And this is a Panos body car, but Applied Computer Solutions, Chris Willis designed this car. We built it in-house, and I mean, it feels great to win for them. It's bittersweet, though. I mean, Chuck Romeo, my day before the race, I was going to dedicate the race to him. He's sick at home. He's our head of tech here, and if I was going to throw it away, it wasn't going to dedicate to him. But luckily, I stayed on the road all day and won. And just want to say hi to all my friends at No Fears. Finally whoop him this week. I was a little sad to see Butch go off. I was hoping we'd have a good run, and you know, the big blue peanut M&M Paul, I don't know what happened to him. He finally broke that thing, but you know.
Pit stop strategy, we see it in Formula One, Boris, where the in and out laps are so critical to trying to change track position, but when you came in, you were behind Johnny Miller, and by the time he made his pit stop, you had a big lead. Was the goal to go out there and run some fast laps as soon as you got fuel?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Willis, the engineer, made a good call, because I caught him, and he was holding me up a little bit, and he caught slow guys. So right when we got to the pit road, he goes, pit this lap. And all weekend long, I've been practicing, you know, getting on the pits and off the pits pretty bonsai, and got a few speeding tickets in practice, but you know, worked out in the race. Everything went perfect. The crew had a perfect pit stop, and you know, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what I feel bad for Mike Davis, because that other car's really fast too, and hopefully we can get him back out here racing. I know he's chomping at the bit with Sandy right now, you know, on a business trip, but he's got a great company, Applied Computer Solutions, and it's good to win for them.
Great job, mate.
Thanks.
Hey, Calvin, I got to ask you a quick question. You talked about, and Boris alluded to it, the in and out laps, but I one of the made up some time was he didn't stumble getting out of the pits, and a couple of guys at Calvin, it seemed like 2-3 seconds they lost, and he was able to get out very quick.
I think that was a factor, Greg, and I think traffic as well. I think Johnny got boxed a little bit there in traffic, and Boris is getting some good clean runs, very decisive moves, and he had a huge lead, as we saw, like over 10 seconds on Johnny once the pit stops had gone under everyone had been in.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an absolute. Look at the unofficial results. Boris Said the big win by some 20-plus seconds. Johnny Miller, Bell, a great run by Lou Gelati. Once again, he came in here with a brand new bodywork on the car, and he had to learn it as the weekend unfolded. Did a great job. Here's 11 through 20. A couple of guys there, Avi Leitzinger, who were so quick but had their problems as well. And Bob Ruhlman, who's Mr. Consistency, 4th in the points coming in, ended up dead last. You don't see that at all. We'll be back. In a Trans Am competition, the 23rd time that the circuit has raced here. I want the race summary, the leaders, laps completed, but that average speed since 1988, 15 years ago, Darren Brassfield's time, average speed for a race of 104.5 miles an hour has been the record. It got obliterated today. Look at that, 109.75 miles an hour. And Chris, I'll tell you what, when you qualify at 113 and run that fast like Tony Avi did, that's something.
Yeah, and I'm here with Johnny Miller, who finished second today, and you also extended your record for consecutive 14 now. Pretty good job today.
Yeah, boy, we had a lot of fun today, man. We had a heck of a race going, and everybody pitted early. And I thought, oh, this is fun. We were cruising. We were running down there near qualifying pace at the beginning, and when they all pulled in, I said, all right, we're going to leave. And on the board, and we had to be a little bit conservative, because I got the feeling it was going to go green, especially at the halfway marks. We started backing off a little and saving the tires and saving the car, and I'm glad we did. We had a little bit of trouble with gearbox, and so we came in the end, but just couldn't reel Boris in. We paced ourselves just a little bit too much.
Yeah, is that just it? I mean, you led the most laps in the race, but you just kind of took it a little too easy in the middle of the race, and Boris caught you.
Yeah, that was the deal. We were wanting to pace. They always say to finish first, you got to first finish, and we were making sure we would do that at the minimum, and we'll be ready for Lime Rock.
Now, you had a pretty good race at the end there going on with Tony Ave. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we reeled Tony in, and I'm not sure if he broke something or if he got into somebody down there in Moss Corner, but I showed up, and there was just cooling everywhere, and we kept on going and ended up getting by him, and it did, but it wetted the track down good. It was slippery there at the end. He was dragging cooling all the way around.
Well, good job, and we'll see you next weekend in Lime Rock.
Thanks, Chris.
Tell you, Johnny Miller, a great way to start the season. 2 straight podiums. He was third at Long Beach. He improves it by 1 and ends up second. We want to remind you now, coming up today, 3 p.m., right here live on Speed, it's Superbikes, the AMA Superbikes from Road Atlanta. Another great track, and those Superbikes put on a show, so don't miss that one. We'll come back to hear from more of our competitors here at Mosport. Don't go anywhere.
Slightly unfortunate pit stop, took a little longer than we wanted, and then it was a question of where's the party. I was trying to find everyone.
But Gelati was in your rearview mirrors. He had a good run going up to 5th from starting 9th, I believe. Qualified 10th, actually, got 9th on the grid. But pretty lonely race for you out there?
Yes, it was. It was, this track is never lonely in terms of the concentration level. You can't let it go at all. I think Mosport's one of the best tracks we race at all year. However, on your own, we've done enough of that. That's what the Thursday, Friday, Saturday were for. I felt sorry for Tony Ave for, a microsecond, because obviously a 3rd place is a lot better than 4th. I just want to say hi to all the J.K. Harris guys. They're at Homestead today, and sort of 3rd place for Gary Longo, really, and David Mills, who passed away yesterday.
Well said, mate. Okay, let's get it down to Chris Neville.
Well, I'm back in pit lane with Butch Leitzinger, who has just dominated the time charts all weekend long. You destroyed the track record, but it looks like you possibly destroyed a little something else during the course of the race.
Right, yeah, you took away my lead there. Definitely destroyed is a good word. It just makes you feel like an idiot when you do something like that, and especially when you do something like that in front of so many people. I just left the pits, and I'm not sure if I just picked up a lot of stuff on my tires leaving the pits, or if when I got up into turn 2, if I was in the marbles. But I turned in there and just went into an understeer, and then kind of was going off the road, and then kind of went into a lazy oversteer and went off. And even then, I didn't think it was going to be that big a deal, but we took the nose off the car and got back on the track, and the next turn, actually it was turn 4, at the front end just picked up, and I thought I was going into the wall again, and they took the rest of the bodywork off, so we were able to keep going.
All right, Butch. Well, good luck next weekend in Lime Rock.
Cheers.
Tell you what, a class act, Butch Leitzinger, and that was a tough way for him to go. He mentioned, or Chris did in that he got the record in qualifying. We talked about a new race time and speed record, but